know that Lesotho is the kingdom and the UAE is the kingdom. We have very good relations between the two countries. We have bilateral cooperations that are going on. We have your ambassador who is resident in South Africa. It's also our ambassador in Lesotho. He has presented his credentials to His Majesty, and it's a long outstanding relationship that we have had with the UAE. So we treat each other like brothers and sisters. And the reason why we're here, you'd see that we've brought His Majesty the King as head of state. It is because it is how Lesotho has taken its relationship with the United Arab Emirates. We took it very closely. And it's also long outstanding in the sense that His Majesty himself has had a very close relationship with the Emir of this country. So for us as Lesotho, our relationship with the UAE has always been very special. And that is why we've taken this Dubai 2020 as one of our major priorities in order to build up the relationship more or further. And His Majesty is going to have other bilateral discussions with the heads of government here because as Lesotho, as I told you, we have that. And I think you have also heard in his opening statement when we are celebrating our independence here that we have also built our fabric, our own fabric of building our own countries from small countries that have come from the humble beginnings and now are coming up. And we want to emulate United Arab Emirates for its coming up from the humble relations to the where it is now with the kind of close relationship, the building of their own people through the ancestors that looked at peace and prosperity as one of the things that could create their country and make it where it is. So we want to copy what the United Arab Emirates is doing. We want them to help us to build Lesotho from where it is now. We also have brought a private sector to come to this particular expo. Our main aim is looking at the theme itself of connecting minds and creating the future. As one of the things that we're saying, if at all we emulate what, or we try to learn from what the UAE has done, we can also get there. We are also a population, our population is also 2.2 million, and it's almost small as it is. But if you look at the UAE, you find that they've actually done the best in the world. They are now a center of attraction for almost everybody else because of a building or trusting in the fact that from where you are, we can actually build up your country and make it a beacon of, something that anybody can look forward to, humble beginnings, and look at where we are. So as a country, Our Majesty has actually said, look at some of the prospects that we can, partner with the best people in Dubai and go and make something out of Lesotho. So we have brought here our business sector, private business sector, and saying, you as a business sector, do concentrate on your theme on Lesotho rising to prosperity. And we have our private sector led by our own business person who has won the Africa Award on Forbes Award, Mr. Matekani, with the very prosperous, some of the good business persons who are now going to talk with other business sector here. We have brought our own Lesotho National Development Corporation, which is leading the business in Lesotho. We brought in our small businesses to come and understand how the UAE has actually built its own private sector because as government we think, or we believe that as government we cannot only build the economy, but we should leave it to the private sector to be able to develop it. And we have very good projects that we have brought with us that we think they could be, if they are implemented, they can take Lesotho from where it is now. As government, we have since realized that due to COVID-19, we are now struggling very much. The country is now going down into things economically through the private sector, through government itself. So unless we find some other reforms that could, be implemented, we cannot go anywhere. So Prime Minister has formed the infrastructure committee. He is now on the webinar talking with the private sector to be able to assist in terms of coming in to invest in Lesotho, and as government creating a level field for the private sector to come in, do business in Lesotho. That is what we are going to do. But also as government, we are going to talk with the United Arab Emirates government in terms of what other assistance can they do in terms of building infrastructure in Lesotho, doing some budget support and seeing which other areas that we can come into and be able to build in the country. We felt as a country that we should come and be part of the 192 countries, specifically because I told you that with our relationship with the UAE, we have found this to have exposed us to more prospects that could be built within our own countries. We were very proud that UAE started this 10 years ago, and because of the way they dealt with it, it has been going on. Most countries have to support it. It is a lesson that if you work together and have that kind of stability in actual fact shows that that is the thing that has made UAE where it is. And for me, I'm very proud that the EAU was, has been spearheaded by a lady friend of mine who was head of it. I'm very proud of her. I know her from other sectors where we've been working together, and I was very proud that His Highness has, elected her, because I know that she's a very strong lady. He has elected her to lead this, and for 10 years they told us they never changed anybody. All the team was working on this, and they've worked very hard. The success, the way it is magnificent. I've never seen something like this, and it's an open opportunity for smaller countries or bigger countries to be able to learn how, when the country is stable and doing things the way UAE is doing, can make sure that everybody or every country is going to make it, to let its people be able to live even under COVID. With COVID, we never thought that this would happen, but it's amazing how UAE has managed to even go beyond that, and even during this COVID time, it's like there's nothing that is happening, and they emerge out of it, and we're almost saying it's not going to happen, but here it is. It has happened, and very well, magnificently. What I can tell the people is that there is life after COVID. If UAE has made it during this time, people should go back and we go and build our own economies. Even though COVID has affected us so much, we could still make it. We could still take learn from what UAE has done and go and make and develop our own economics in our own world. And what we have learned, what we have come out and make relationship with the UAE businessmen, we should go and strengthen those relationships and make sure that we use them so that we can be able to build our own economies.